My goodness.
Yeah. Anyway, I
Okay.
think floor is yours.
Sir, shall we start, sir? Now our session chair
Please go
also
ahead.
joined now.
Yeah,
Yes,
yeah.
yeah.
Sure, sure. Please go
Yes.
ahead.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. Uh, good evening to all and respected chair, IEEE Vizag by section, Dr. Lakshmi Narayana, and today's program distinguished chief guest, Professor Beam Singh, fellow IEEE from IIT Delhi, and invited guests and my dear participants who belong to various knowledge communities, professional members, student members, non-members, and faculty members, and very good evening to all of you. And first of all, on behalf of IEEE Power Electronics Industry Applications and Power and Energy Joint Society Chapter, Vizag Bay section, I welcome all of you. Today's event, Edison Memorial Lecture. In fact, this is the first Edison Memorial Lecture planned by our section, and we feel deeply honored by the presence of Professor Beam Singh sir for the inaugural talk for this Memorial Lecture series. So, as he is the right person to do these talks today, and it gives me a pleasure also to share that our joint chapter conducted nearly 40 technical programs since September 2020. Just 4 to 5 months ago, we started this chapter, and we are continuing to conduct a lot of events in 2021 also. And coming to today's events, actually, all of you know that Thomas Alva Edison, who was born on February 11, 1847, he is known as American inventor and then businessman, also described as one of the greatest world's innovators.
Thomas Alva Edison born on
And
11th
who,
February
yes,
1847. Yeah.
yes. And he developed many devices in various fields like power generation, mass communication, and sound recording and motion pictures. And today, on the occasion of 174th birth anniversary of Thomas Alva Edison, we are glad to recall his achievements and efforts to the technical community as well as society. And with this brief introduction, now we will proceed to today's program. So, Edison Memorial Lecture by Professor Beam Singh sir, and I'm sure the participants will gain the knowledge and get the benefit from this program. So, thank you all. Now, I request our session chair, Dr. Lakshmi Narayana, Vizag by section IEEE, to give his opening remarks. Thank you.
Dr. Professor Beam Singh, Professor Dr. Radha Ramakrishna Garu, D.V. Sarma Garu, many Professor Tandon, Sumit, Ramesh Suryavanshi, and a lot of great people are there before me. In fact, I think Professor Beam Singh might be remembering me. I think, sir, I really worked with you when I was a director at AICT Chandigarh, when you during that time 2000 2005. In fact, I met you a couple of times. In Chandigarh, I was working as a regional officer at AICT Chandigarh, and I worked in NBA also at the time of Professor Rajdan. I think you may be aware of that thing. That during that time, I think we met right, like. Okay, really, ours is a small section, sir, with a less than 400 members. Our student community is a little large, around 900 to 1,000 are there. And Sandeep and many of my colleagues, my volunteers are very, very hardworking. And that was the reason that last year we got this first prize for the best incentive award from the Art 10, even though we started our working from maybe something around August, September, actually we started, but we could get the highest reward from the Art 10 out of the 59 sections in Art 10 area in the small section category. I am proudly announced that Sandeep also got an outstanding IC award from India Council in last year 2020 also. Because he will not mention because he got the award, therefore I am mentioning him. His exemplary services are really doing great things for us. Really, many of the, in fact, from he studied at IIT and did some work in Bangalore and now working in NIT, really making a lot of good people around him. And I think we have Siva Sarma Garu with me today. He is a great personality from NIT Warangal. Whenever we call him, he will join us. Certainly great. Kindly help us, sir, in coming years, also coming events. We are conducting a conference in July, August this year. And our section is very small, but very, very vibrant, sir. With this opening remarks, I'll now leave to Sandeep to go ahead on that.
Yes, sir. Thank you. Now I request Mr. Ashwin to introduce the speaker to our participant today.
Good evening, Professor. Good evening.
Good evening, Bhim Singh. Nice to see you. Huh?
Yeah, good evening. Yeah.
I just went for an evening walk and थोड़ा 5 minutes late हो गया. Huh?
No, just we starting like
Very good.
we
Very good.
started work, sir. Yeah, like
Yeah, thanks for joining, sir. Yeah.
Yeah, very nice. Yeah. आप क्या लैब में हो, घर में हो, कहाँ हो? Where are you?
my office.
Oh, you never you never go to house, I think. Huh?
No, don't say to my wife that thing.
Yeah, I know most of the time you spend in your office. Huh? Sometimes you go to your house also. Huh?
Yeah, because 20-30 students are still working in the lab. So
Yeah, I know. वहाँ से एक बिस्तर पर हाँ.
No, I mean 6-7 months we took a technician, so he also registered for a MS degree.
Oh God.
Okay, so he taking the class now, doing the coursework, so and all that. So he's also studying. So he had to study late. He got married recently, but still he had to study late.
I
Lab is
know.
open. So full lab of hardware open.
I know when your son was born, on the very same day you came to the office and started working. Huh?
But that I mean, I'm not involved in that. So I'm supposed to come in office. I mean, like,
No, that's okay. His wife delivered the baby. On that day, he should be with the wife, and he just comes to the office. You know, that is what Bhim Singh is.
Thank you, boss, sir. Thank you. I'm like,
I remember all those things.
Hello, Dr. Murthy.
Hi, sir.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's Professor Tandon, sir, actually.
Hello, Dr. Murthy.
How are you? Huh?
Yeah, I was telling, I got reminded of my marriage day. On the day of marriage, I went to Toshniwal, my usual factory, and in the morning I gave the this card, invitation card to my manager. So he said, "कब है शादी आपका?" मैं बोला आज शाम को है. Oh, what are you doing here?
Yes.
So on that day I was, went on my marriage day.
It looks my students are very much wild. Huh?
Yeah.
Yes, sir. Yeah.
Yeah, तुम्हारा your face is not looking this thing. वो कुछ light नहीं है तुम्हारा इसमें.
Light तो है, होना चाहिए light.
I can't see your face.
No, I think white. I don't know how this is.
वो भीम सिंह का तो ठीक है, ये light. तुम्हारा तो कुछ नहीं, there is not total darkness. अमावस्या है.
अच्छा, ऐसा
Steady
है
will
क्या?
come. Yeah. Yes, sir. Yeah, we'll proceed with the program, sir. Yeah. I'm sorry to interrupt. And now I request Mr. Ashwin to introduce the today's speaker to the audience, please. Mr.
Yeah,
Ashwin.
अब ठीक है.
So, good evening, Sir Bhim Singh, sir. So, good evening, respected professor. It is my privilege to introduce Professor Bhim Singh, sir. Professor Bhim Singh, sir, has received his BE from University of Roorkee, now IIT Roorkee, India, in 1977, and his MTech and PhD from Indian Institute of Technology, Delhi, India, in 1979 and 1983, respectively. He started his career as a lecturer at University of Roorkee in 1983 and moved to IIT Delhi in 1990. He held many positions at IIT Delhi, such as ABB Chair Professor, CEA Chair Professor, Head of Department Electrical Engineering, and Dean Academics. He is JC Bose Fellow of DST, Government of India, since 2015. Professor Singh is the Chairman of Board of Governors, Maulana Azad, National Institute of Technology, Bhopal, since 2018 for 3 years, and non-official independent director, NTPC Limited, since 2018 for 3 years. Professor Singh has guided 95 PhD dissertations and 168 ME or MTech MS thesis. He has been filed 70 patents. He has executed more than 80 sponsored and consultancy projects. He has co-authored a textbook on power quality problems and mitigation techniques published by John Valley and Sons, 2015. His areas of interest include solar PV grid interface systems, microgrids, power quality monitoring and mitigation, solar PV water pumping systems, improved power quality, AC to DC converters, power electronics, electrical machines, drives, flexible AC transmission systems, and high voltage direct current systems. has received the Kozlov Research Prize of University of Roorkee in the year 1999. He is the recipient of J.C. Bose and Bimal K. Bose Awards of IETE for his contribution in the field of power electronics. He is also recipient of Maharashtra State National Award of ISTE in recognition of his outstanding research work in the area of power quality. He has received PES Delhi Chapter Outstanding Engineer Award for the year 2006. Professor Singh has received Khosla National Research Award of IIT Roorkee in the year 2013. He is recipient of Sri Om Prakash Bashan Award 2014 in the field of engineering, including energy and aerospace. Professor Singh has received IEEE PES Nari Hingorani Custom Power Award 2017. He is also recipient of Faculty Research Award as a most outstanding researcher in the field of engineering 2018 of Careers 360 India. He has received Faculty Lifetime Research Award 2018 for overall research contribution at IIT Delhi. He is the recipient of IEEE IAS Outstanding Educator Mentor Award of 2020. Professor Singh is also recipient of INAE Outstanding Teaching Award 2020 and Eminent Engineer Award 2020 by the Institution of Engineers India. Professor Bhim Singh sir is the recipient of First International Solar Alliance ISA Haryana Kalpana Chawla Solar Award for working towards developing solutions in the solar energy sector to help create sustainable low carbon world for generations to come. He has been the general chair for many IEEE international conferences and national conferences. Professor Singh sir was chair for PES Delhi chapter and PLS IIS Delhi chapter. He was the chair of IEEE Delhi section for 2020-2014. Professor Singh sir is a fellow of Indian National Academy of Engineering.
Sandeep, you may unmute. You may unmute. Some of the noise is coming from.
Bhim Singh.
I do. Yes, sir, I do it. Please. Please continue, Mr. Ashwin.
Professor Singh is a fellow of Indian National Academy of Engineering, FNAE, fellow of Indian National Science Academy, FNA, the fellow of National Academy of Science India, FNASC, the Indian Academy of Sciences, India, the World Academy of Sciences, FTWAS, Institute of Electrical and Electronics Engineers, the Institute of Engineering and Technology, and a fellow of Institution of Engineers India, and fellow of Institution of Electronics and Telecommunication Engineers, and a life member of Indian Society for Technical Education, ISTE, and fellow of System Society of India and National Institution of Quality and Reliability. So warm welcome you, sir. So thank you very much for giving this opportunity. IEEE Vizag section and Sandeep sir for bringing eminent professors to Vizag section. So over to Sandeep sir.
Yes, sir. Thank you, Mr. Ashwin. Now let us move to our today's program. So now I request Professor Bhim Singh sir to deliver the Edison Memorial Lecture to our IEEE community. Thank you, sir.
Well, good evening to all of you. And thank you very much for inviting me for typically and very nice words, so long. No, I don't deserve for really so long, introduction. So thank you very much. I think it's already 3 minutes gone, so I don't want to keep you hold for longer. Or so. I think Sandeep, you have to allow me to share the slide. Okay. I think it's,
yes, sir,
I'm
yes.
not getting the.
Okay. So you please now you please check, sir.
Yeah, it's coming. Probably
Yes,
I think it's possible now. So okay.
Yes, sir. It's visible.
You are able to see?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes,
okay.
It is visible now. Yeah.
I don't know. It can be reduced. Okay, it will be there. Well, good evening to all of you. I hope you can hear me.
Yes, sir.
Well, first again, I have to thank to the organizer, especially Professor Sandeep. And remembering after so long time, remain in continuation touch. And probably giving opportunity for this. So, well, the topic today, what have been probably on solar photovoltaic power generation, for which probably we are working for a decade, more than almost like a decade for finding the solution as I already introduced. and probably might have on IEEE Explore the maximum number of publication on this topic in the world. I mean, just to introduce, and of course, this is already introduced one. Of course, recently it is recognized by this International Solar Alliance also our work. I mean, especially I like to thank my student who really working hard, probably who are 96 graduated. Yesterday was the 96th student Viva, and probably 2 are submitted. So probably maybe up to June, probably it may touch 100. Apart from remaining working around like a 70 student are working at the moment. Like, I mean, we got around funding about like a typically order of around 50 crore in the lab. We don't have a space to keep the equipment now. I mean, still we have a fund to exhaust. I mean, like typically, I think maybe I have to still have a purchasing probably around of 1 crore worth of equipment. I mean, or so. But coming to anyhow, I mean, today talk we decided to go for solar. We have been very passive starter. I mean, to work really in any particular area. So we started a little late in the solar. We started initially in the wind. Typically, even Dr. Shailendra Tiwari is here, who also work along with the other guy, even including DFIG, and now probably most of the machine. A lot of people are working not only this, the hybrid system, like which we call it microgrid, like, and with the power synchronization. I'll talk a little bit on typically. So solar came little late among all these energy and but have surpassed all the energy sources by development so fast and in decreasing the cost. Like, well, in India also we have a like last tender of 1 rupee 99 paisa per unit, but in Middle East already it touched the 1 rupee per unit. I mean, like Indian rupee 1 per unit. I mean, you can think about how the cost reducing drastically down of this solar PV generation. Like, I mean, on which probably I would like to talk a little bit. So of course, if we talk about the India, I mean, we have probably might have crossed now, probably might be touching around 100. It was September figure. It was renewable was around 89 gigawatt, and that is typically how it has been probably the different part or so. And this is about the power generation in India in general to talk about. And private sector has come reasonably now around half, more than half, like according to Central Tier 30 data. And earlier by the plan how it has gone the growth, and typically in different part of how it is going the energy and peak demand and all that. And now it is the time has come now. Sign start. I mean, typically, I mean, you can just see now from 2018 to 1920 now coal consumption start reducing little bit now. I mean, like we just look into data sitting in NTPC board meeting that now we are start reducing the consumption of the coal and in total country generation compared to, because renewable have come already reasonable like so. And of course, this also the figure, like it's clearly seen that how we are able to have a increase the power consumption per capita consumption, which is considered a reasonably index for the development of any country, like, I mean, also. But of course, we are very far behind compared to North America. Professor Dr. Bridge is already there, like he might be knowing the figure of US, like, I mean. So why we really require the renewable, especially for India? I mean, the major problem in India, typically we consider the pollution. I mean, like environment pollution, not in India, but abroad. But we are more taxed about that. It pollute your non-conventional conventional energy sources pollute, like typically your air, land, and water. These are the three things we are using in our life. And of course, the renewable don't pollute too much this environment like also. Well, and they are available in nature. I mean, the renewable sources, and solar is one of them. I mean, compared to non-conventional like a fossil fuel based, also which may be exhaustible after some time. And another is this pollution. I mean, quantifying the pollution which is reported probably in different form cause the health hazards, typically in different way, and affect the typically human beings. Like, I mean, these are the little bit information about that, and the benefit of typically of what is of renewable benefit also. And these are the, of course, the relation to greenhouse gas emissions, like related to pollution, like how your typically the coal, lignite, and oil, as well as natural gas have a typically the gas emission. But of course, solar PV can say it's a very less polluting kind of, I mean, energy or biomass or other also. But solar, of course, going at a very fast rate as the pricing going down, and it is available quite a lot. I'll talk about how much even we can think about in India about the solar PV. I mean, like, So these are the renewable, and you can just see probably the solar came the last, but it grown like anything, and solar photovoltaic grown substantially large. Like these are the some of the figure, of course, for all these typically renewable, and the solar you can think about probably these are old figures. It has gone cross already 36 gigawatt, and by in India also we expected to have 100 gigawatt by 2022. I mean, target are very tough, like, but of course growth is every day in India, like, so these are some data related to that only. And of course, why solar? I mean, you say limitless. I'll give you the figure some little later. And important is that the among the renewable, like you can think about, I mean, we can have a 120,000 terawatt solar radiation, which present 20,000 times more than what your planet, whole world needs. Like, so you can think about it's a typically limitless energy available from sun on the earth. Like, I mean, and we can use of course in this case underutilized land. Moreover, it is available every place. So that's another reason, and it has a less losses it can cause into your electric network because you can generate at the place where you are consuming. So that benefit is also there as like a rooftop or others like. Well, it creates the job and provides the economic growth and boosts the energy independence. Okay, and drastically reduce your eliminate your electricity bill and great return on your investment. And this is typically how the growth is there in the world of the solar. I mean, like typically in last few years, and typically going to be world scenario in the growth. And these are data like related to one side. Left side is the typically the, you can call it like a top added capacity. So we are in added capacity, we are the third typically. I mean, in 2019, but absolute term we are fifth. So we are not so bad as far as solar is concerned. 42.8 gigawatt is at the fifth place or so. I mean, like after you can just see, I think all these probably the that are available on website and how it is the growth. You can call it in 5 top countries like China, then the US, then Japan in sequence of the growth, and then of course Germany and followed by India. So we are the fifth in as far as the total cumulative generation of solar is concerned, like also how it has gone and how it is exponentially increasing the growth of solar generation, especially for photovoltaic, like also. So these are some of the information like, okay, how the growth have gone, typically like expected to reach 107 gigawatt by 2020 and 19 the worldwide capacity. Like, so of course, this is the Indian scenario, impact of Indian scenario. We are expecting that it will be, people can get benefited, especially for cooking, lighting and other needs. I mean, by using the solar energy and really give a solar, typically social and economic benefit. I mean, for creating employment, other benefits also for even a village level also. So it's available all the places and employment generation also all kind of the benefit there and sustainable typically the growth. This is solar map, especially around the world, but in India we have a, I mean, the solar potential, quite good solar potential across whole India, and it's a 4 to 7 unit per kilowatt. I mean, we can probably generate it typically from each your kilowatt installed capacity, like, and these are the different states. I mean, like how it is the growth have been. Karnataka has been the first. Like you can think about the Karnataka installation is around 7.2 gigawatt. Typically, these are the top 10 state how the generation of solar has been or installation have been there. I mean, like typically. So this is which I was mentioning, 4 to 7 kilowatt hour is the per square meter per day. I mean, like, and according to MNRE, we have a solar potential about 748 gigawatt, assuming the 3% wasteland if we use in probably for solar PV generation in India. Like, of course, I will talk about little figure. And this was the first in January 11th January 2010. The target was kept 20 gigawatt, which was revised later on in typically by present federal government on 2015 to go from 20 to 100 gigawatt. Like, also. So these were the quite interesting, and why 2020 typically target 222 because we'll probably about 75 years of independence. Like, so that is the kind of the sentiments goes in India. But you can understand in last 5 years the growth have been 2.6 gigawatt to 28.1 18 gigawatt. So in 5 years, it is more than, you can call it 11 times growth. I mean, like, fastest growth may not be probably in any other sector what have gone to in solar energy, even in India growth. Like, and we are expecting this growth have to be much faster to bring it like your from 2019 to 2003. I mean, next 3 years, again, it has to go 3 times, like, or so more than that. Otherwise, or 4 times. Otherwise, you cannot touch the figure of 100 gigawatt or so. These are the different schemes Government of India launched. I mean, like a solar park or visibility gap scheme, okay, CPSU scheme, canal bank, canal top scheme, bundling scheme, grid connected solar rooftop schemes, like also. And these are the, of course, added capacity typically in different financial years of this and the different states, like for different programs, like also typically all around the world, like, I mean. So you can call, these are the 5 typically state-wise, I mean, typically 5 states, Karnataka, Tamil Nadu, Gujarat, Rajasthan, and Andhra Pradesh are top 5 states for renewable power generation, and currently meets the requirement of 23.67 of by renewable energy, and out of that 40% is from solar, like, so. And of course, you have a lot of off-grid solar applications program also. I mean, which are mentioned here, like typically solar water pumping, solar lamp, solar lighting, also. And of course, different schemes government have launched from the different ministry, like a solar pump by PM Kusum scheme. Similarly, for your lights, Saubhagya schemes. I mean, these are the typically Kusum is the short form of quite, I mean, big concept like of that, like. And these are the, of course, typically the, with the, you can call it off-grid kind of solar pumps, 2,37,1,000 or others applications also. So of course, state-wise, all these, I mean, like of the whole country, about 30, typically 37 identity of the country along with the, your union territory along with the states also, how it has gone. And what are the typically, like you can think about power generation in different segments, like including the 2,60,000 solar water pumps also installed in PM Kusum schemes, like. Well, these are the install, you can call it investment have to come, I mean, like in different plant. And these are the 5 largest solar plant, like 2.25 gigawatt in Badla, that is in typically in Rajasthan. And the second largest plant in India, 2.05 gigawatt in Saktisla in Karnataka. Then third biggest plant in 1 gigawatt in typically in Andhra. And fourth one is the Riva of 7.75 gigawatt in Madhya Pradesh and 0.648 gigawatt in typically in Tamil Nadu. So these are the 5 largest plants, and these are the 5 top solar PV developer, like Adani Green Energy 12.3 gigawatt, and GCL New Energy 7.5 gigawatt, and SB Energy 7 gigawatt, and NL Green 6 gigawatt, and Brookfield 5.7 gigawatt. So these are the 5 top PV developer in India, like, I mean, those are. And these are typically, you can think about a typical photograph of solar farms, how it is looks like, I mean, like, and typically. And then, of course, you can call it for remote location on rooftop kind of thing. And then standalone applications, parking meters, I mean, like in the world, or traffic signals, your telecom sector. In India, telecom, we have a 4.5 lakh telecom towers. And of course, government have put already, like, you have to, it has a genset battery as well as PG genset as well as solar panel now. So there are 2 purpose of putting the PV generation there. Typically, with all telecom towers, the one is that you have to reduce the capacity of DG set. Apart from that, you have to reduce the consumption of the diesel. And you can understand these are the sector second largest consumer of the diesel after railway. So we are using a lot of, we are giving, of course, some subsidy on diesel on the name of farmers, but they are not consuming that much diesel as your telecom tower. And this becomes very essential requirement now after the railway, because you can forget the meal, but you will not forget the call on your mobile phone. I mean, like, so that is that another reason for. And another major application is coming, like your water pumping, solar water pumping system for different application. I mean, like, not only typically for irrigation, but for drinking power supply also. And then, of course, street lighting. You can just see the street lighting, maybe standalone or with the grid interface also people start putting now a measure. And then, of course, your typically solar parking for electric vehicle parking, especially electric vehicle charging on the parking. I mean, like standalone application or something with and space application. You will surprise that we were known first about the solar panel tracking, mechanical tracking only. Typically, for the space, we use only all the satellite with the only with the solar panel, and you will not believe that. Okay, was Sir Raj Gopal, who is no more. He did only on the stepper motor design for solar panel tracking only, like for the space satellite, like also. And then, of course, you can think about like now building related on the wall, on the roof. I mean, like solar windows, different kind, and of course, military use for even a portable kind of the equipment. And you can say the army person is taking even a on his bag kind of solar panel. I mean, for the different need for the charging, like I mean, and you can see the charging here typically of different kind of equipment also even for military use. And then, of course, the transport segment. You can see on the train top, even in India, we are using, or your railway station or metro station or the vehicle, or even a simple rickshaw. You can see on the top in IIT campus, we have a 200-watt panel on the top of rickshaw, and with the 200-watt motor, I mean, which can drive the simple rickshaw, I mean, and allow the poor guy who are running the rickshaw to supplement, I mean, their manual effort, like, I mean, also. Well, this we did, I mean, I asked my research student to look into what is the potential in India. So we look into the projected potential for PV generation 2,566 gigawatt. And this first column is, the first row is wasteland, which is from MNRE data of 3% wasteland. If we use 748 gigawatt can be generated. And sideway of highway, we have been very conservative for calculating. So if we have both highway, 6 million kilometer highway there in India, so we should be able to generate 600 gigawatt. Then water pumping system. I mean, if we talk about 150 million farmers in India and each pump is of 10 kilowatt, which they have a catchment area, you can easily have a 500 gigawatt generation from that. Then villages, like if you have a community center, school, panchayat office and all that, even simple 500 kilowatt on that, we have 600,000 villages, so it will be 300 gigawatt. Then canal top, each canal we have potential of 2 gigawatt. If around 100 canals, then we can easily generate the 200 gigawatt. Similarly, of course, if we have a replacement of Ujjwala Yojana, I hope you know Ujjwala Yojana. And not only it can give the energy for cooking, but you can have it for lighting, fans, TV, and other appliances. And each roof, if it is have a 2 kilowatt for that, then 50 million houses are there in India. So you can have easily 100 gigawatt generation for this purpose. Like because in Ujjwala Yojana, you have to give a gas cylinder, you have to transport and all that handling. But here you can put a couple of kilowatt panel and with the battery and other appliance, and you can probably not only cooking but other needs also you can do. Similarly, on the top, people start putting now on three-wheeler top around like typically order of 300 watt to 600 watt is the normal size of the panel. I mean, if we took an average of 500 watt, you have typically 100 million three-wheelers. I mean, typically, and then you will have a 50 gigawatt. Similarly, educational institutions, we have already have a 2 megawatt in IIT Delhi roof here in this campus, and 400 kilowatt is already there in Sonipat campus. So if we have like a typically 40,000 colleges across the India, so we can easily have a 550 gigawatt. And then railway metro station, we put on each railway station around 500 kilowatt. On each metro station, they already install in installation around 450 kilowatt, so which can be about 7,000 railway stations and 500 metro stations are there at the moment. It can easily generate 5 gigawatt. And of course, on a school top with the 20 kilowatt panels, which already Chandigarh schools are having around 20 kilowatt. 4 lakhs schools are there, so you can easily have a 5 gigawatt. And government PSU, I mean, like typically about 10 megawatt each, and 500 central PSUs are there, so you can have easily 5 gigawatt. And of course, bank top, if we have a 20 kilowatt on each bank, 1.2 lakh banks are there, so we can have a 2 gigawatt. And petrol pumps, we can have a 20 kilowatt on petrol pump rooftop, so there are 60,000 petrol pumps, so we can have 1 gigawatt. This accounts to around 2,566 gigawatt, which is at the moment around 6 to 7 times what we have at the moment, the total generation for India. So you can think about probably, I mean, time may not be very far that we can probably electrify total by solar generation itself, our need, like, I mean, also. So that is simple, I mean, like estimate, I mean, maybe little optimistic, but we have been very pessimistic to calculate all these, like, then of course, coming to typically like off-grid, how can be off-grid or grid tied? And typically maybe some of the on what it required, like a typical concept of in California, and then appear in different literature for even a mechanical tracker also. I mean, like also, and you can just think about like a largest plant probably in China in 2017, what energy it's generating and how it looks like. And this is the first on canal top, the photo of your present, your Prime Minister, and when you were the Gujarat Chief Minister, that was the first installation on canal of top 1 megawatt. You know how the reporter reported into the newspaper. They say so much water will not be evaporated if you put this your solar panels on the typically on top of canal. Like, and of course that's the reason is a one of the scheme has come big way in India on canal top, where we can have a think about the scope of each canal can have around 2 gigawatt. So you can even have 100 canals, so 200 gigawatt easily you can generate from rooftop, and major other benefit also there. I mean, now you cannot, if you put a canal top this solar panels, so you cannot murder the Bhauri Devi and put into canal. So it goes under already in surveillance like also. And of course the Karnataka, that is 2 gigawatt plant, how it look like. And then Badla, okay, that was the tariff for that plant, second largest. And then this is the largest plant of 7.52 gigawatt on rooftop in Vyas, Amritsar Vyas, like typically how it look like. And typically how the photograph, I mean, typically. So let us come to like a typically some idea about what is really in the system, like are there. So it's a concept have been of a string inverter. I mean, like typically you have several panels connect together, and then with this inverter to put the grid, it's called central inverter, or we call it a string inverter, or concept of micro inverter. So you have a separate inverter for each panel and then put this. So that's concept of micro inverter in brief. Or you have a power optimizer. I mean, with the each panel, but you have a single inverter. Or you can call it, people call it booster, power optimizer. Virtually it's a boost converter. I mean, like which give you, so it really, I mean, give a quite good efficiency, I mean, for maximizing the power generation and not to take a issue of each panel when they are connected in series also. That problem are avoided in that case, right? Also, there are many advantage of this even for rooftop grid interface. The one of the major advantage of low gestation period, you can have a plant of megawatt in couple of months, where you can think about the hydro plant takes around one complete generation. I mean, of 25 years or so, along with the other benefits. Like, so you can install very quickly, like you can think about. So these are all, I mean, kind of benefit. Of course, some disadvantage, but of course, day by day technology is improving on that part. We have, of course, in India, very interesting issues, like, and that's the reason I used to say to my student, like, if you are able to develop the control for Indian grid system, both for solar generation, I mean, your algorithm will not fail in anywhere in the world, because we have so much power quality problems in our grid. I mean, all the inverters coming from typically from your developed country or Europe, I mean, they trip very frequently because we have a problem of under voltage, over voltage, voltage unbalance. So all and their protection are very sensitive, of course. So those are the problem if we are able to modify, like which we did little research on that area, and we found like okay, all those problems and can be really, some of the problems can be taken care by proper control, like also. So we did some. I would like to talk a little bit about our what research we did little bit on this solar PV photovoltaic system. I mean, starting from like a single phase, you can have a in single phase like we call it single stage or double stage. You may use battery, you may not use battery. I mean, because it typically in system like India, we can't afford the battery because the battery is the costliest compared to like a other component. So we can consider grid itself as a good storage. Like I mean, that's the concept we thought of putting some time. And of course, you have other power quality problems you can think about. So this is the first system what we look into like a single stage. You have a solar panel, you have a converter, and you have a like so what we considered it, especially we were working on power quality for long, more than couple of decades. So we thought it that why not to use this inverter for 24 hours. I mean, for the 24 hours in the sense not only for solar generation, but taking care of power quality issue, compensation of local load, and feeding the power to this local load. It means the power take down from the grid will reduce it. So and take care of harmonics and reactive power of this load also to grid current at unity power factor. And this current is also reduce it because you may not be taking any current, but you won't be putting the current here. Like But for even 24 hours, you can meet this requirement of nonlinear load for other purpose other than active power also. So one is improving the power quality. I mean, in the issue, and at least we can remove, typically, we can take care at least the cost of converters here. We are not changing anything except the control. I mean, the hardware is the same, but only modifying the control, we are able to use this more effectively, the converter for 24 hours also. Of course, we put a modification of the control of this inverter with proper control algorithm. That's exactly I told you, like you can have even a single stage system MPPT from the same by sensing this and doing all the job. And you can clearly see that you have typically a grid voltage and grid current, which is out of the phase, means power is going to the grid and it's compensating the load also locally. I mean, you can see it's a nonlinear load which are compensated by the same inverter and making the current sinusoidal at unity power factor on the grid side. And typically we are able to get the TAD of the current like 1.4% of the grid current, even the voltage TAD was 1.2% like also. And even when you have a over voltage or you have under voltage, the system works very well. And you can just see still the grid current TAD is reduced quite low also. Well, this is the typically operation under voltage, which is very common in India, and you can clearly see because even the load or power consumed are affected by that, but we are able to modify the control in a manner it works under voltage, over voltage, under all those conditions. And even that there is a distortion in the grid voltage, you can think about the voltage TAD is 7.8%, but the grid current TAD will reduce to 2.1% like also. So we should be able to inject the current at unity power factor with less TAD compared to the voltage like. So control is modified even with the distorted voltage the system, where this distortion may be because of some other load, not because of the solar generation. And that was the impression given that, okay, solar inverter really pollute the grid. But we say solar inverter not pollute, but it can improve the grid like I mean also. So that we have to prove reverse way. And then, of course, it works whether solar generation increasing or decreasing. And you can just see typically in the daytime, I mean, you can call it compensating, putting the power to the grid and compensating the load also. But you can understand in the night, I mean, like it is compensating typically the load also, but power is coming from the grid. So grid current phase changes automatically. During the night, it takes power from the grid. Daytime, it puts the power to the grid after feeding the load also. So we are able to test all these properly, the algorithm, and the TAD in the current, we are able to reduce 2.2%, where the voltage TAD was 2.1% or so. Then we extended our work for two-stage system. And two-stage system, like we feel like, okay, in research, what the common person feels, you do something different and maybe some advantage of it. So what we have to look into here, typically in spite we put the two converter like a boost converter here for MPPT. And what we look into, in spite the losses of this overall generation, we are able to enhance by a couple of % more. I mean, in spite of that, what we did here, that since in India, our voltage fluctuate over a wide range, if we keep this DC link voltage in coordination with AC voltage, we are able to reduce the losses 3 to 4% in the inverter. However, the increase in losses was only 1.5 to 2%. So overall generation increased couple of % on this side. Of course, meeting all the functions for compensating of this local load and putting this current at unity power factor and sinusoidal. Another benefit of two stages that we are able to now select this open circuit voltage of this solar PV equal to DC link voltage. So now all the devices, we are not supposed to increase their voltage rating by 15 to 20% otherwise. So we are able to reduce the voltage rating of all the devices by around 15 to 20% down and able to generate more power, couple of % more in spite of the two-stage system. I mean, also. So that is, of course, we modify the control to take all the benefit of this inverter for 24 hours with the MPPT as well as the solar generation and working it for the wide voltage range also. And it does not matter whether, I mean, the solar power generation is there or not, it go on working as a compensator to the distribution system also without much problem. So even the solar generation is off, still the converter work as a typically kind of like as a active filter or the DStatCom, whatever you call it like. Of course, we extended with a battery also. Now you can understand in India we have a relevance, we have a battery. Now the grid should not experience the intermittency of solar generation. Grid should not experience the intermittency of this varying the load. And this load should not experience the intermittency of the grid also, which is very common in India. Because our grid is not available, but your local load should get the uninterruptible power also. So neither we lose the generation, nor the grid experience any abnormality whenever the grid is there, and we should be able to synchronize very smoothly. Like so, we extended the work further in that direction. Like also, of course, typically the mode how we can operate it also, and put the constant power. You can put not only constant power, you can put the more power, not only solar and battery power also when the cost of electricity is more. Of course, that concept is not there in India, but of course in developed country concept is there. Power cost of the power changes over the 24 hours. So we can should be able to put the more power to the grid and sale of certainly with the higher cost like also. So we modify the control of this also typically and got the MPPT of course in laboratory environment, and we are able to, you can say when even the grid is not there in islanding mode also, even we are feeding a nonlinear load, I mean from the typically battery and solar with the TAD of 32% surge distorted, but the current voltage TAD is only 1.5%. So you can say voltage was almost sinusoidal in spite in islanding mode also. And when it is connected to the grid, like within 3 to 4 cycle, standard say 10 cycle, but we are able to connect it within typically, you can say the load voltage are not affected, load current is also not affected. So after 3-4 cycle, we are able to synchronize to the grid well. Typically, I mean, when after gridding appearing and exchanging the power with the grid at unity power factor, you can clearly see the current at, I mean, like able to put the power to the grid, like, and you can see the TAD of the grid current again reduced to 1.4%. So we are able to do very smooth transition, synchronization also, as well as islanding also. When grid fails, the load is not disturbed. It still get the without any much interruption the problem. And when the solar insolation changes, it also does not affect much on the load side also. So we are able to get dynamics also properly, synchronization also properly without much problem of this like. Of course, we extended the work for three-phase system also with compensation of this local load and putting a supply current almost sinusoidal and unity power factor, even the solar generation changing, I mean, and the typically the compensating the load. So all those aspects we modify the control in that way with the advance, and you can see the grid current are sinusoidal, where the you have a load current quite non-sinusoidal. So inverter is fitting the local requirement of the load also, and even unbalanced load also, you have a like a line-to-line load, still the current are balanced and sinusoidal at unity power factor. So we are able to work out under that condition also, whether load is not there, you put the load, it start filtering, and when load is also removed, then also it work very well without any problem, the system without any interruption also. And solar, when solar generation also changes, it work very well without much problem. Then we extended this work for two-stage system for 3-phase also. I mean, it worked very well. I mean, here to compensate the load also 24 hours to work it as a DSTATCOM apart from solar generation. And we modify, of course, the control with power filter, even the voltage are distorted, like you can see unbalanced load, but grid current are sinusoidal, like that's not getting affected. You feed more power because local load is not consuming that much because generation was constant, like also. So it is able to work under all varying condition also, even during the fault, because new standard says, even if there is a fault, your inverter should not trip, because you may feed the reactive power for, or restoration should be very fast. I mean, when your grid again fault is removed, so you should be able to start generating without any much problem also. We are able to study under those conditions also. I mean, and you can see like even a supply current TAD is only 5%, like, I mean, here you can see the supply current where you are feeding highly nonlinear load current also. And voltage TAD is also reasonable, like, I mean, 3.1% also. So we are able to meet all those requirements. I mean, the internal control signal we are able to generate well, and in the night, I mean, you can say it work like active filter. You can see the inverter current how it changes. Like, I mean, typically to compensate the local load, not only, and even if your voltage are unbalanced, we are able to modify the control that its system work very well. Also, so not only we have to use one control, but we have to use many control algorithm even for filtering the voltage also. I mean, from unbalanced and distorted voltage also system work very well. So you can see how much is the distortion with 13.2% TAD in the voltage, but the current TAD we are still able to get around 4% also without any much problem like that. Then we extend, of course, this typically for 2-stage with the 4-wire system, because neutral current compensation also we can do with that by adding one lag and taking care of all those compensation also. I mean, you can say typically the grid current are balanced sinusoidally, in spite you have a neutral current, excessive neutral current concept also we are able to take care, and load remove. Its system does not spill anything low, whether load is added or load is removed. It works very well without any much problem. Like also, you can just see clearly load removed, load is added, and but the grid current remains sinusoidal and balanced. Like you can see grid current how it is balanced and sinusoidal. And or the solar insolation changes, it work, or over voltage, under voltage, sags well also there. System work without uninterrupted leave without any much problem. Then we added the battery. So now we say again, I mean, you can call it like this: load should see the uninterruptible power, even grid is not there, and you should not lose the generation because you have a battery here. Even the grid is not there, so even then you should not lose the generation. You can store and you can feed the local load. But when grid is there, you should be able to feed more power and the revenue, feeding power from the battery as well as. So whatever the benefit was there of this battery in the grid, that all we are able to encash here by modifying the properly control. Like you can understand, when we feed the non-linear load, voltage was distorted, but when we switch on this system, the voltage profile is also improved. I mean, without any much problem, and we are able to synchronize again to the grid after appearing the grid about after 3/4 cycle without any much problem. Synchronization also we are able to do it. So you can say when the system is not on, you can see how the distorted of the voltage because of non-linear load. When our system is on, the voltage profile is also improved and grid current made sinusoidal. Of course, inverter supply this, of course, non-linearity of the load also here for 3-phase also, and all the synchronization issue we are able to take care. In islanding mode also, we are able to get quite good TAD 2.7% or 2.67% only of the voltage. So even feeding non-linear load, but voltage are maintained even in standalone mode also without any much problem, working as a typically a UPS with the solar generation without heavy. Another application which we are working with a couple of projects. Initially, we took a project about 70 lakh from DST. Couple of students were there, and 5 PhD students are graduated on control of 5 brushless motors. And then we extended with the industry Ustar Aviskar Yojana project with the Shakti pump, leading industry in India. So we developed not only the control of this, but we developed all five motors. So our students have developed the finite element based design, improving the efficiency as good as like in a small rating around 10% increase in efficiency, and able to go to industry to manufacture the motor and then use the motor for this solar pump. If we are able to increase the efficiency like a 10%, we are able to reduce the rating of panel around 10-12% or so, and the cost of the product you can say is not increasing, but we are getting a efficient solution for that. So that's why typically there are lot requirement, because in India have a 52% population on typically you can call it on agriculture. So this is very important that we are able to provide this, and these are some of the benefits like of solar water pump compared to diesel or the grid based like also. So you can understand how it has gone up. I mean, like you can say typically so many pump. I will give you data like if you look into 94 to 2014, only 11,600 pump were there, but in these 4 years 1.1 lakh, and now government have decided every year to go to typically more than 1 lakh pump. I mean solar water pumps also. So that was the need why we have gone towards the research, because we are having expertise of machine design also, electrical machine design, and some of the applications like of solar water pumping system also. I mean, like not only for swimming pool, aerator, aqua farming, your domestic and municipality power supply system. Yeah, this is one of the good way of storing the energy into the tank. I mean, typically that you can pump the water when your energy there from the solar and supply this, because we already have a for municipality power supply, your water supply system already the tank, so we can use that tank as a storage of energy of solar energy here like also, and for other purpose also like. So what we have here, the PV and power converter and the motor and pump. So we do MPPT, and we of course control the pump converter in a manner that it consumes the entire power into pump, motor and pump like smoothly. Of course, initially people use the DC motor, but we work on all 5 brushless motor: squirrel cage induction motor, permanent brushless DC motor, switch reluctance motor, synchronous reluctance motor, which have come in last 5 years only. I mean, ABB and Siemens developed it. So we also developed with the help of industry. Even this motor, they were not developed in India, but we got developed with the help of industry. And PMSM, permanent synchronous motor also. So all 5 brushless motor, I put 5 PhD students. They are working hard day and night. They are able to have a finite element based design and is able to develop the motor also with the help of the industry like that. So we work out with the control of that with sensor and without sensor, with single stage or double stage in Stellano or grid interface also. We put a concept of bidirectional power flow, because this will help to increase the, you can call it the income of the farmer, because there is just enough area in agriculture farm of the putting solar panel. So if you are not using entire energy, you can put to the grid also. And we were very keen to have a sensorless of this, because you in submersible water pumping system you cannot use the sensors like for these motors like also for all these 5 brushless motors like. These are the photograph of course of developing the all 5 motors: permanent brushless motor, synchronous reluctance motor, induction motor, and your switch reluctance motor, and synchronous PMSM also. So I have all 5 motors were designed and developed by the industry collaboration. And those motors are already, in our laboratory, which we are typically testing with the solar system with the control, which first five PhD students have already graduated with the control, and now they are modifying the control, improving the control for sensorless also, so that they can be used for directly submersible pumping, or groundwater pumping. So we took, of course, the control also of this, and we put of course, initially we started typically for scalar control, then we use the direct torque control as well as vector control. All three techniques we use it, and avoided all the mechanical sensor on the pump side or motor side. And even one of our students is able to even eliminate, only put the sensor on solar panel, and from this voltage and current we are able to estimate voltage current on the motor side and estimate all the parameters for even direct torque control and vector control also, and do the MPPT. And you can see smooth starting with the variable frequency of this, and steady state operation at different solar insolation also, increase or decrease solar insolation. Then we of course put where the grid is there, the interface for the grid also along with the solar. So whatever power is coming from solar, remaining can come with the grid, because sometimes you may like to have uninterruptible water pumping also. So grid interface also we put it here, for remaining power, maybe in the night or so if you want to continue the pumping also, and we modify the control in a manner, and it work well. So you can operate only with the solar when grid is not there, only with the grid, or on in the night, or when both. So this is with the when starting with the first mode, with only with the solar, typically along with the then typically in mode 1, and typically mode 2 means only grid, and then the third mode we call it, and even we are maintaining unity power factor on the grid and reducing the TAD also quite low, and different solar insolation level. And the third mode when power is from both, also, and you can see when solar insolation changes, accordingly the grid current changes. When solar insolation is reducing, grid, but the pumping is done at the constant, you can call it a discharge like that. And we are able to have a good power quality with the almost unity power factor on the grid side and low TAD of the grid current, and different solar insolation. MPPT also we use it, and sharing the power, typically from solar and from the grid also. Then we put bidirectional power flow also with the grid, because you might have a panel of high rating, or you may not be doing the water pumping. We use the permanent brushless DC motor, which is most reasonably efficient, maybe around the efficiency difference is around in 1 HP or lower than that. Half HP or 1 HP, it can be efficiency difference around 20% compared to induction motor. And we develop later on even a sensorless also, and feed the extra power to the grid also, or take the power from the grid with the improved power quality. So that solution we are able to do with the typically with one student. You can just see the grid current when solar insolation grid current, power taken from the grid also, and BLDC current also. But power factor here again, we are able to maintain TAD 2.9% and unity power factor on the grid side also. Even you put the power to the grid or you take power from the grid. So when pump is off, power, you can say the current is going out of the phase of the grid, so power is fed to the grid like what we do. Then we work out, of course, with the reluctance motor also, and typically even now second student is working with the control after May, and we are able to do now sensorless also of this motor also. So this is one brushless motor, which is supposed to be a very good motor, and less number of devices we are able to operate successfully with the MPPT also, and typically a smooth starting, and then change on the solar insolation. We are able to get, very effectively the control of this, and of course, so we have used even permanent synchronous motor also for this purpose, with the bidirectional power flow also, and it worked very well, for smooth starting, then steady state running. And when the solar generation is less, so power comes from the grid, all those, and the TAD on the grid side, unity power factor, and TAD less than 5% on the grid, and feeding the power. Then we work out with the synchronous reluctance motor also, which is new. Last 5 years only ABB and Siemens start manufacturing. We also manufacture after designing with the help of industry. We have 3-4 motors from manufactured by Shakti Pump in our laboratory of different power rating, even up to 10 horsepower or so. Initially, we target about 2 horsepower or 3 horsepower, and we are able to work out with the sensorless control of this typically of synchronous reluctance motor also. This motor gives you a better efficiency than induction motor because there is no losses in the rotor. And with the proper sensorless control, we are able to operate very successfully in vector control as well as direct torque control. You can clearly see how the starting operation, all of these are experimental results achieved by our student motor winding current, and the speed, you can call it position estimation as well as the speed estimation, of all of this motor with the solar increase insulation. So it works very well without any enhancements of efficiency by optimizing and reducing the cost of sensors also. And then grid interface. So if we are not running the pump, you can put the power to the grid, or you can take power from the grid, or you can put excess power to the grid, running this pump also uninterruptedly within 24 hours and modifying the control accordingly, like different modes again, because your system still should be able to operate if grid is not there. In India, that is a very common problem, like so in some cases, of course, it can go to off grid also. We are able to control in that way also. Of course, MPPT most of the time is taken care, and position estimation, speed estimation, operating sensorless control also of this motor also without any much problem like that. And with the power factor correction, almost unity power factor, and TAD with the current less than 5% or so, working very typically with the varying solar insulation also without uninterrupted pumping also. You can see again the TAD is quite low also under varying solar insulation also, feeding power to the grid also. Then we extended this use of solar for charging infrastructure for electric vehicle. I mean, one of our students, because nowadays you will find people are using solar as well as wind for charging infrastructure. As you can see, panel and solar, I mean, throughout the world, and even India also the concept is coming up for, and you can have all these even EV for all those support system also. So we look into like how the renewable can be put along with the solar. We put solar here mainly for the kind of charging for the vehicle and feeding the power to the load also, even the grid if it is not there. So that concept we brought it here. I mean, like using the solar more effectively, like, and using the power, even the battery of the vehicle also to feed in the night for even the local load also. So different modes, I mean, how it is the really taking care and able to maintain the good power quality on the grid side with the less TID, almost like a unity power factor on the grid side. You can see that on the grid side power factor unity and feeding the power to the grid, taking the power for the grid, I mean, according to requirement. So this we call it charging infrastructure. You can charge, typically you can have a like a 30-40 e-rickshaw, and we consider it here. You can have a like a typically you might have even a single wide Professor Murthy design single phase SCIG. We use that SCIG of even 3.7 kilowatt, and we have a grid. We have a DG set. I mean, you cannot say so today grid has not come, solar has not come, so we cannot charge your e-rickshaw. I mean, like, so we have a battery, so we can store battery from the solar. I mean, the slow battery and low cost battery. I mean, which is long life battery. We can charge it and then charge the vehicle. I mean, typically large number of vehicles and put the power to local load also, like a local community also. So either you can mainly given a priority to solar because it might be 2 rupee, grid is 10 rupee, and the DG set is 20 rupee. I mean, but you still have to give uninterruptible power. So we did all synchronization also properly and control it much effectively. This kind of microgrid. So we have a patent also as well as the publication also. The system works very well without any much problem, even not only for steady state but for the so we extended the concept for 3-phase also in the same manner with the proper synchronization. So grid also for this charging infrastructure like also. And even the improving the power quality, what we already explained in the solar use earlier. I mean, like whether load is unbalanced also, that compensation is also provided by same converter. Also, not only that, and you can just see the battery, vehicle, AC side, DC side as a charging infrastructure with the solar also, and feeding local load also. So that is about how we use the, I mean, solar for the charging infrastructure in the rural areas. So with this, I would like to now conclude that the benefit of the solar PV generation for different purpose. We started from solar grid interface, then we have gone to water pumping as well as for charging infrastructure also. These are some of the books, around 23 books are there already on solar. And these are, of course, our student publications, like apart from first book, which we wrote on power quality. So there are like a typically around number of publication, I think journal publication around typically now more than 50 are there by the student only for that. So with this, I would like to conclude and thank you very much. And if you have any questions or clarification, I will be happy to answer that. So back to Sandeep. Okay.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Thank you so much, sir, for delivering the wonderful talk to our participants. Yeah. Now this session is now open for any questions, please. They can unmute themselves and then ask one by one.
Yeah, Dr. Sandeep, this is Ramesh Suryavanshi. Am I audible?
Yes, please.
Yeah, Dr. Bhim Singh, lecture was very excellent. We could see a lot of research has been carried out, efficiency has increased, power quality issues have been removed with all control algorithm. It is really good to know that because PV is coming into as a storm, and one should use it. Our land is also sun-kissed land, so we should make use of it. My question to Dr. Bhim Singh is, uh, you have to throw more light on if there is a resonance happens. Because I have my design consulting firm running